Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel. It's Teresa here for Allison Pennington today, working with a little bit of spring digital collection. And so lately it seems like I've been doing quite a few spring themed layouts, and that's so exciting. I'm going to share this one with you. It is a hybrid layout. And so I'm going to take you to my Photoshop screen here. This is the CC version. I'm working on a PC. And just a couple of notes about this particular layout today. One, there's a mixed media element. The little flowers that you see, I altered those just a little bit by adding a drop shadow, just the tiniest bit of a drop shadow so that they would show up a little bit darker. And I wanted to make note of that because if you download that element, it's going to look different. And so, but I just made that little change to it so that it would show up a little bit better, especially behind the text. I also did a little bit of a different drop shadow behind the raindrops. I love these raindrops. They're so cute. But it kind of makes them feel like they're little transparency pieces without all the endless gluing. So another little element in this collection, you'll also notice the dots, the dotted lines that I created. So I fell in love with the little frame that's around my photo. I worked with that a couple of ways, but I stole the dotted lines from the inside of that frame. And you just take your rectangular marquee tool and grab those and do a new layer by copy, and boom, you've got some dotted lines. That's how they showed up. They're also repeated in the black on white polka dot pattern paper and around those adorable little clouds. All right, enough of my jibber jabber. Let's get into the process. Okay, so here I'm going to show you what I printed out here from the collection. After creating it in Photoshop, I send it over to my Silhouette, insert the cardstock or photo paper, and print it all out. This is printed on a wide format Canon IX6820. You can see there are two pattern papers that make up this background with the mixed media items. The scallop is an element in the collection. The title, Thriving, is an element in the collection that I added an offset to in Silhouette, or you can add a stroke in Photoshop. A couple of word strips there. These are some of the strips. Some of them are in the collection itself, and then some of them are just bits and pieces from the pattern papers. Also, the ribbon, an element in the collection, the black on white polka dot, and a little scrap, I think, that has the words on it. The clouds themselves are their individual elements. I just joined them together and printed them out 2 by 2. And then there's a floral cluster as well that I combined using different elements in the collection. And part of the title is going to be formed by the little alphabet stickers that you see on the right-hand side. I printed those each out as groups, the words by group, just to help make it a little bit easier to glue down. So I'm trying to work out here what order I want the pattern paper strips to go down in. And I'm just expanding on the division that I made, not quite at the halfway point in the layout. And so the background sort of starts that division, right, with the 2 pattern papers and the little scallop. And then the paper strips here are going to bring the patterns and colors more into the forefront. But they're also serving a very distinct purpose in leading your eye right to the photo of yours truly. Sometimes that can feel a little bit awkward, but after all, this is a layout for me, about me, by me, going into my personal album, which I think is also very important for us to document our own stories and our own photographs. So I kind of got this figured out a little bit, and just kind of making these strips. I don't want you to look at the layout and go, oh, there's paper strips. I want it to be kind of an accent around the photo, above and below the photo. It's also what I like to call a counterpoint. A counterpoint is a musical term where when you're listening to, let's say you're listening to an orchestra and there's the main part of the movement, and then there's a secondary melody going on. And the counterpoint here is in the line. Again, I'm talking about this kind of visual separation here, or visual line that goes vertical from top to bottom. But we're also going to do a counterpoint with a line going across the page. And here's where that becomes evident when I add the title. So the title as a whole is going to say, this is what thriving looks like. And so as it comes together, you'll begin to see this intersection. This right here is the intersection, and the paper strips help develop that more, I think. I think that's a good word. We're developing these lines, and we're developing this intersection. Funny story, when I am gluing down these words, you'll see here in a minute, I mentioned, so these are alphabets in the Allison Pennington Little Bit of Spring collection. And they're totally adorable. It can be a pain to glue each one of those down individually. So I grouped them by word. And then, look here, I'm very carefully and very tediously placing the wrong word in the wrong place. So, there I realized it. And I did have one little letter that kind of somehow cut itself by itself in the silhouette. The silhouette read that as an L and a IKE. But that's fine. We're going with it. The reason that I did those that way is because I did want to have a little drop shadow in between each one. They tend to blend together if you just print them without a drop shadow. So Photoshop allowed me to do that, and then the silhouette allowed me to just combine them as an element. My beautiful floral element here, that is flower and leaves and one of the rainbow icons in the collection. I decided to pop those up with Pop-Tarts after gluing it down. That happens sometimes. I did that a couple of times here, actually. The photo itself is popped up, and again, doing that to bring the layout closer into your space. It's inviting you to experience this moment. And the moment here that we're experiencing is my ability to recognize, even in my old age, at 51, to be able to finally recognize that success. Especially as a stay-at-home mom, I've wrestled for a long time with what does success feel like? How do we recognize it when we see it? How do we redefine it as a stay-at-home mom? And how do we look back on 50 years of life and come to terms with the dreams that didn't come true or haven't come true yet? And so I've been wrestling with that for a while, and I think I've finally a little bit come to peace with that. And so that's what my journaling is kind of about. You'll be able to read the journaling over on my Instagram. If you're interested in such things, if you're interested in more about my journey. The clouds here, you probably notice that they came onto this layout a little bit differently than I planned. And so I'm kind of, speaking of wrestling, I'm kind of wrestling with these two cloud embellishments. The one that is underneath the word strips and has the little bow on it, I like that. I like that a lot. It looks great. But there's supposed to be two others, and I didn't put them where I had planned for them to go, and that's fine. So here's how I'm going to deal with that. First, I printed a couple of extra elements from the collection, because I liked them and I didn't really have a specific place for them, but they might come in handy. And so one of those is the little, it's not the zigzag circles. So the yellow one went underneath the first cloud, and then I went ahead and added the top zigzag circle underneath the clouds that are going here at the top. And so again, sort of bringing your eye up this vertical line, right? Our vertical line is the main emphasis here, but I think now you're beginning to see the intersection with the horizontal line, and it's just some design speak there. And so I think that mirrors well what's going on at the bottom of the photo, and also just making a fun little cluster there at the top of the photo. So sometimes I've been doing enamel dots or puffy stickers lately, and today I'm going to add some enamel dots. One other little note is the butterfly over on the far left hand. I wasn't planning on that. That's one of those last minute elements that I decided to add, and I think it looks great. It kind of tells you to start here. Start here at the beginning of the title, at the beginning of the journaling, just calling your attention, bringing the focus to different areas of the layout where you specifically want the viewer to look. And my beautiful friend Mary Beth, I had kind of shared this a little bit with her, so some credit to her for final editing and final planning of this layout. But her comment was that arranging it this way brings your eye, actually brings the focus to the photo of me, and that I think makes it very successful. So as I finish up adding the enamel dots here, and I'm also going to add my date to it. Very recent, I just did this yesterday, and but I did want to let you know I will have the links to this product down below. It is a free with $10 purchase right now over at Sweet Shop Designs, and so I hope you'll head over there and snap this up. Have a great time creating some spring layouts for yourself. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you back here again real soon. Bye-bye.